remember the first time I heard Hendrix on the radio, really heard him, and just sat there. Didn't move for the whole song. 20 photos today from an era when music did that to you. Let's go back. Hendrix played Singer Bowl in New York in August 1968. One of the wildest shows anyone who was there ever described. And this is what Hendrix looked like an hour before that. Alone in a locker room, guitar in his hands, completely inside himself. Nobody needed to wind Hendrix up or get him ready. Hendrix was always already there. 2 years later, Hendrix was gone, 27 years old. That room, that quiet before the storm, stays with me. 1973. Bowie had just retired Ziggy Stardust in a show that left the audience stunned. Announced it from the stage, no warning. That same night, Bowie threw a party at Cafe Royal and somehow Reed, Jagger, and Bowie ended up at the same table telling jokes. 3 people who had almost nothing in common except that each of them was changing what rock music meant. Jagger couldn't stop laughing. I love that this photo exists. This was only the second concert Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young ever played together. Second. They'd been a band for weeks, and somehow 50,000 people showed up and sat in the grass and just listened. Nash said later he had no idea what was happening. It felt too big, too fast. There's a photo later in this set that connects to that feeling of something enormous beginning. Hold on to it. Alice Cooper spent a lot of years scaring parents half to death. The shock rocker, the horror show. And then you see this, Cooper alone getting ready, completely calm, completely focused, like a craftsman before a job. Cooper once said the makeup was like a switch. Vincent Fernier went on, and Alice Cooper came out. Cooper always knew exactly which one he was. The Rolling Stones recorded Exile on Main Street in the basement of a rented villa in the south of France in 1971. Richards and Watts just sitting outside together between sessions, nobody performing for anyone. Watts was the quietest Stone, the one who showed up, played perfectly, and never needed the attention. Richards called Watts the most important musician in the band. Did you have a record where the drummer was the whole reason it worked? Exile is mine. Detroit, 1978. Seeger was the king of that city, and Springsteen was on his way to becoming the king of everywhere else. 2 guys who believed in the same thing, that rock and roll was supposed to mean something about where you came from. Springsteen said later that Seeger was one of the only people who made him feel like he wasn't alone in what he was trying to do. Blondie and the Ramones shared stages at CBGB for 2 years before either band got a record deal. Harry and Ramone were neighbors before they were famous. The whole scene was basically a neighborhood. Dylan, London, 1966. Fans pressed against the glass outside. Dylan completely unreachable inside. That distance cost him something real. Who's Next came out in 1971 and went straight to #1 in the UK. And I've read several accounts of that night, and I honestly can't tell you whether the band was celebrating or just relieved it was over. Townsend had been trying to make Lifehouse for 2 years, and it had nearly broken him. This might be relief more than joy. I'm still not sure. Santana and Hooker recorded together in 1989 on Hooker's album, The Healer. Santana said he drove to the session like it was a church. Hooker was 74 years old and still playing with the directness that Santana said nobody had matched. Two people on completely different timelines who somehow ended up making something that sounded like it had always existed. Halfway through, the next 10 get quieter. The friendships get more interesting. And here's the thing about this photo that connects back to what I said about CSNY. About something feeling too big, too fast. By 1981, Queen was playing South American stadiums to 300,000 people at a time. Mercury called it the most overwhelming experience of his life. Not the London shows. South America. Nobody had seen anything like it. Mercury was awestruck by his own audience. Lynott wrote some of the warmest songs in rock history. About his mother, about growing up Irish, about belonging somewhere. Boys Are Back in Town sounds like pure joy. Lynott earned every note of it. The Ramones played CBGB for the first time in August 1974. The club held maybe 200 people, smelled like a basement and 30 years of spilled beer, and had a stage barely big enough for 4 people. Joey Ramone said it felt like home the first time they walked in. Some rooms just fit the music that's supposed to happen inside them. Nobody who ran that New York scene in the mid-70s had any money. Jet was sleeping on people's couches between Runaways tours. Johansson's apartment had a hole in the wall covered with a poster. Harry and Chris Stein were sharing a place in Brooklyn that had no heat one winter. They were all broke, and they all showed up every night anyway. That's the part that gets left out. 1977. Black Sabbath was selling out arenas, and Ozzy Osbourne was the most feared man in British rock. And Ozzy just wanted to dance. That's always been the part I love most about him. The Chili Peppers in 1987 had released 2 albums that almost nobody bought. Hillel Slovak was still in the band. This was a group that genuinely didn't know if it was going to survive. Flea said later those years felt like the only pure time, when nobody expected anything, and they could be exactly as strange as they wanted. Music used to leave room for that. I miss it. High Infidelity came out in 1980 and sold 10 million copies in the US alone. 10 million. REO Speedwagon had been playing bars for a decade to get there. That album was 10 years of work disguised as an overnight success. Benatar won 4 consecutive Grammy Awards for Best Female Rock Vocal Performance. 4 in a row. And I'd argue she's still one of the most underrated vocalists of that entire decade. Not because people didn't love her, but because the industry filed her under female rock and left her there. The category was the cage. Tell me I'm wrong below. Uriah Heep got some of the worst reviews in British rock history when they started. One critic said the debut was the worst album he'd ever heard. Heep sold 20 million records anyway. Rush spent years being told they were too complicated, too nerdy, too much. Radio didn't want them. The press largely ignored them. And they built one of the most devoted audiences in rock history, entirely on the road. Night after night, City after city, 3 guys who just kept showing up and playing everything they had. Peart, Lee, and Lifeson. Still together 40 years later. That means something to me. Every one of these people showed up and played like it mattered. Not all of them got the recognition they deserved, but the music is still here. Was there a band you loved that never got its due? I always want to know who that was for people.